I work a full-time job over 60 hours a week and still make golf videos every day. Matter of fact, in the last 2 years, I've released over 480 long-form videos and hundreds of YouTube shorts and Instagram reels. So basically, I've worked 2 full-time jobs for over 3 years. And in this video, I'm gonna tell you how I do it. So I'm walking through Walmart, of all places, and my little brother tells me that I've done a lot in golf and had some moderate success in high school and in college, and that I should start a YouTube channel. Got to play the slope there. So up until that point, I'd never thought of doing YouTube. Hadn't even been on my radar. I don't even know if I watched YouTube at that point. So decided to give it a try. I started with just doing a couple holes. I would test out a hole or play a hole and show a strategy early along in my YouTube. And then I started actually doing some golf ball reviews. But one of my employees bet me that I couldn't get 100 subscribers by the end of the year. And me being who I am, I said, well, that's easy. I generally get 1 or 2 subscribers anytime I release a video. So I'll just do 50 videos by the end of the year. And when I did that, I ended up releasing 68 videos by the end of that year. That was the end of 2022. Ended up gaining, I think, 480 subscribers from that. So in every level of golf, from junior golf to high school golf to college golf, I've always been the unathletic, the shorter hitter out of the group. And I just thought that maybe what I learned, the strategy that I used, could help some other golfers that are more normal golfers and not athletic. When I played in high school, I ended up getting the most valuable player my sophomore year, my last 3 years of high school. And I went from being the worst player on the freshman team to being the MVP of the varsity my sophomore year. And even though I was the best player on the team, they still called me grandma because they said I played like a grandma, just bunting it out there in the fairway. And I didn't care. What I cared about was the score at the end of the day. The number 2 player on that team was an athlete. He played baseball on the baseball team. I think he was a shortstop. I can't remember. But he loved to make fun of me. And all he cared about is how far he would hit the ball. And even years after high school, we played together, and he's still talking about the 300-yard drive that he hit 10 years after high school. And it didn't matter that I shot 73 and beat him and he shot 88. Just mattered that he hit that 300-yard drive. I think that's partly why I named my channel Mr. Short Hitter, because even though high school is a cruel place, I know the internet is even worse. And I figure, hey, I'll call myself Mr. Short Hitter before everybody on the internet can make fun of me and say, hey, you're only hitting your driver 205 yards in the air. So I beat him to the punch. So my job isn't a 9 to 5. Sometimes it's a 9 to 9, sometimes 9 to 7. If I'm lucky, it might be 8 to 4, but it's always 7 days a week. So a full round generally takes me about 12 hours to edit. So that's why I try to break them up into 2 9-hole rounds, 2 9-hole videos rather, and just makes it a lot easier. If I finish filming at, let's say, 8:30 in the evening, I'll get home by 9 o'clock and start editing, and generally I'm editing for the next 5 hours or so. If it's a time where I don't feel like editing, then I try to make a point to at least do 1 or 2 hours. Sometimes you guys ask me, how do I play golf with nobody on the course? Well, there's a few ways. One is you can tee off about an hour before sunset. So guys, another way is with some very strategic camera angles. If there was a group on this green, I would be more likely to shoot this way. And when I'm putting, I generally shoot away from the golfers. So I've had times when there was 200 people playing the golf course that day, and I would get someone in the comments to say, how do you always film with no one on the course? But there was 200 people around me. You just didn't know it. I have 128, but the pin is all the way in the back. So I'm going to go with a 9-iron just to be safe. We don't want to go long. Be okay? So guys, another way that I film when it looks like there's no one on the course is because there is no one on the course. And that's generally in winter light conditions in the Chicagoland area. We will get days to where in the winter it's playable. For me, it's playable, and it'll be 38 degrees, 34 degrees, 30 degrees. And if you go play golf and it's 34 degrees, there's a good chance that no one else is going to play. And sometimes I do get a question about whether the superintendent wants you out there, and that's on the golf course. Some golf courses let you out. If they're open, they're open. I know like Cog Hill keeps 2 courses open year-round in Chicagoland area, so it doesn't really matter what the conditions are. You can go out there, and I think Carriage Greens is another course in our area that's open 365 days a year. The other thing that helps this channel keep going is the sponsors. Guys, are you sick of losing expensive golf balls in the trees or water hazards? Well, you should check out this video sponsor, Golf Ball Planet. Golf Ball Planet has been the #1 supplier of used golf balls since 1997. They have all the top quality brands at a fraction of the cost. Knowing that your golf balls didn't cost you an arm and a leg should take a considerable amount of pressure off of that 175-yard par 3 over water. That's one take. Use the code MSH18 to save 18% on your purchase. What are the odds of that? Here's a perfect example of what I was saying. If there was people on that green or people on that tee, then I would film with the camera facing me. So I do everything I can to keep people out of the shot, and that's why it always looks like there's no one in the shot or no one on the course. Got to hit it a little harder in the evening. Always happy with pars. My setup is super simple. Most of the time, if I'm in a golf cart, I'm going to have the camera on just a simple tripod. So if I have my push cart, I'll have the camera clamped onto the cart. I just need to put the cart in the proper position, hit record, and off to the races. See what the VistaGet gives me here. 148 with the slope. Great for shaky hands. Pin's in the middle here, so I don't have to worry about going long. So I'm going to hit a 6 hybrid. Well, you pop it up, it's not going to go long. That very fat. Must be getting very firm out, guys, because I'm almost certain I hit that ball fat. But, well, maybe it's not. Flew right here. Got to get acclimated, I guess, to the summer distances. Left to right, putt here, uphill. Go. Wow. So when I'm putting and I have time, I will take the camera off of the cart. That's only when it's evening and there's nobody behind me. So I use Shotcut, a free editing software. Edit all my videos on Shotcut for the last 4 years. So the entire time I had this channel. I use a free version of Canva to make thumbnails, and also if I'm doing like shorts or Instagram reels to where I'm generating text, I use Canva for that also. So guys, the one thing that I always heard was that you could get started just with your phone. And I think that's great for someone that has an iPhone or a decent phone, but my phone just did not have any memory. I always get phones for like $100 or maybe $200 now. So my phones don't have a lot of memory, and the video quality is not going to be good as you're going to get from not even the latest iPhone, but a basic iPhone from several years ago. So if you have an iPhone or a more premium Android, you could use that. But for me, it just didn't work with a $150 phone. That's why I got the Canon M50, and I've had this camera for about 4 years. I actually probably need to upgrade that camera, or at least the camera lens, because I just used the kit lens. For my purposes, it looks okay, but you guys probably can tell if you're watching other creators on YouTube, especially when I start filming in the wintertime, the video quality is not nearly as crisp. For the last year or so, I've had this Hollyland mic, and this was an upgrade. I think before there was a mic that I just got off of Amazon that was probably like 25 bucks. Actually, it was a gift for me. And eventually it died after a year or two. So every time I tried to replace it with another inexpensive mic, I always heard this buzzing in there that I couldn't really get rid of. And it made the editing very, very troublesome. So I upgraded to this Hollyland, and the problem with this is it really picks up a lot of noise and a lot of wind, even when you have the little wind filter cap, whatever you call it, on there. I may need to upgrade that Hollyland mic now to DJI or probably a Rode mic. So I think that'll make the editing process a lot easier, because when I film a video, especially if there's any type of wind, I'm editing audio for like 45 minutes to an hour in a 9-hole video. So I think just upgrading and spending a little money on that would really help me out in the editing process. And this is indoors with the Hollyland mic. Now, if I took this off and I just used the camera mic like I used to do when I first started, I believe, then it would sound like this. I've always felt lucky to have a few places to film at. This is a high school near me. My old golf coach, Coach George, took me out here when I was 18 years old. And this is a school, and they have 3 practice holes. And when I was a kid, I would hit thousands of balls at these greens. There's 4 greens here, and I would just walk off and see how far from the flag I was and kind of learn my dispersion pattern. So this is the first area that I have to practice and film at. I'm also lucky that there is a course near me that has kind of a 3-hole little practice chipping area where I can go and hit chip shots and pitch shots, and I filmed some chipping and some short game videos there. I have my net in the backyard. I did a Father's Day video there recently. I have a putting green that I built, artificial putting green, in the backyard. And of course, I have my garage simulator that has recently been upgraded. And you guys know that have watched the channel a while. I have the PGA Tour Superstore Plus membership, so I can go to any PGA Tour Superstore in America and use their TrackMan to get some data. But I recognize you guys don't really want to see me hitting into a simulator screen. So most of my outdoor numbers are with the Rapsodo MLM2 Pro or the Voice Caddy SC300. Indoors, I'm using the SkyTrack, and I would like to upgrade to get uniform numbers indoors and outdoors. And I did mention that all the membership dollars would go towards an upgraded simulator. For courses, I have 17 Chicagoland golf courses that I can play through my Golf on NET membership. And I plan on playing every one of those courses this summer and doing kind of a little series on all of those courses. But I am looking for a new home course. So if you guys know any course that would be open to having a small golf YouTuber call it his home in the Chicagoland area, make sure to leave that down in the comments section. Working 60 plus hours a week in addition to doing 40 hours a week on YouTube is not easy, but you try to put some value out there, you try to put something positive out there, and you get comments that can really get to you if you let it. One thing I try to remind myself of is for every negative person there is out there, there's 50 positive ones, 50 of you who actually enjoy what I'm doing, find value in the content that I'm providing for you. And that's really what matters. I try to remind myself of that every time I get a comment of whatever that might be that gets me down, because generally it's the next comment from one of you guys that pick me right back up. I'm reminded of how much I love this game. I love golf. I've been playing golf since I was 12 years old, most of my life. I enjoy playing it. I enjoy teaching it. I enjoy sharing strategy. I've taught from since I was doing junior camps back in 1992 and teaching high school golf in the late 90s. And I just enjoy helping people get better. I read and respond to every one of your comments, and I see you guys are getting better. Now, if you're not getting better, but you're still finding the videos entertaining, well, that's important too, because there are a lot of you who say you can't play golf anymore, but you still enjoy and you still watch the channel. There's about 500 of you, and that's been the same way for a year and a half. There's about 500 of you that watch pretty much every video that I release. And as long as I have you, then that's good enough for me. So one thing I learned doing YouTube, kind of similar to my golf game, I've never been the strongest. I've never been athletic. I've never been the most talented. So I always had to rely on two things. I had to rely on strategy, and I had to rely on work ethic. With YouTube, I'm not really trying to trick you guys into watching the videos. There's really not a ton of strategy into how I'm doing YouTube, but I do have a very good work ethic to be able to put out the amount of content that I do and still have that full-time job. I think that's something that I think a lot of people would not be able to do. If I was doing one video a week, the type of videos that I do, this channel would have maybe 1,000 subscribers right now. I think in long form, I have close to 1,000 long form videos in 4 years. And most people are going to quit way before they produce 1,000 long form videos. I think I saw a comment that always goes around, or a video that always goes around, from Mr. Beast. And Mr. Beast says that if you're doing content, then you should do 100 videos and try to get a little bit better each video, but do 100 videos before you even think about getting views. And I think a lot of people quit well before they get 100 videos out there, and definitely quit before they get 1,000 videos out there. So every time I get discouraged by either a comment or discouraged because I'm not getting the type of views that I wish I could get on a certain video, or you guys aren't liking the content as much as I hope you would like, then I just think about that and I say, let's make 100 more videos. And then by the time I get into making 10, 20, 30, 40 more videos, then whatever was bothering me 40 videos ago, I'm not even thinking about it. So I hope this helps you guys understand my process. I hope it helps someone that's thinking about getting into content creation to kind of understand what they're getting into. It's a lot of work, but I'm still filming every day. I'm still editing every day, and I'm still growing this channel one video at a time. And I want to thank you guys for being a part of it. Until next time. Mr. Short Hitter, out.
5 holes to go, just play 13.